I remembered to upload the intro credits this time, people. For those of you that watched our pre-match on Saturday morning, it went a little bit wrong, didn't it, Duke, on that front? And that was completely my fault. Can't blame anyone else.
Nothing.
Silence is golden. Silence is golden. Guys, thanks for joining us. Don't forget, drop a like on the stream, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and make sure... What have they got to do with that bell, Duke? What's the... Are we agitating it?
I don't want to agitate the bell. I really
you don't want to agitate it?
Agitating the bell leaves me slightly concerned in a great situation. So I'm thinking wobble the bell.
Wobble
it.
Hello, that's a new one.
Oh, I think so. I'm just going to move my thing this way.
Yeah, why not? So, talk to me, Duke. How was your weekend?
You know what? As much as I'm loving Europa League on a Thursday night, Saturday really fucking drags now. Really drags now. It's horrible. I just, it's just one of them, isn't it? You get the Saturday, and I'm a little bit jealous of the 7 o'clock, the Saturday games. I turned the TV on, and obviously with the pub, and we had the Liverpool game on, obviously first game of the day, and I was like, it's all right, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's football. It is football, but it ain't us. It ain't us, and it's just that feeling of, it's like Monday night football. It's like Monday night football when, you're slated for a Monday night appearance. The weekend means fuck all in, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's you're like, oh. And that's how I felt Saturday, to be honest with you. Saturday was just an absolute drag out. And it's not no disrespect to Watford or to Brentford. And I thought Brentford played some really good football Sunday night. They're not thrilling, enthralling games, are they? Do you know what I mean?
Nah, not really.
Come on, crack on. Don't get me wrong. Salah's goal was absolutely outstanding.
Oh, that was beautiful
on the post match. And then I felt that Mendy's was it Mendy in goal for Chelsea? Is that
Edouard Mendy? Yeah.
The save he made from the overhead kick was just, reactions were amazing.
Yeah.
For 180 minutes of football, those are the two things that I pick out. Good evening. Those are the two things I pick out. I'm like, and then we get to Sunday morning, and I have to say, Sunday morning drag like a bitch, because I just needed the game to start, Rob. Come on now, and it ticked away, and we got to about 1:15, and I was behind the bar. I was just like, I'm done with the day already. Hurry up, we are. And then obviously it was what it was, and obviously we'll discuss the game in a little bit. I'm not gonna jump into it 4 minutes in, but it was just like wowzers, the day couldn't have got. The weekend struggled. I struggled. So, what about yourself? How did you make it?
Yeah, not bad. My daughter had a game out towards Sittingbourne yesterday morning, and they won 4-1. My daughter had a very good game. Didn't score, thankfully for my wallet. She had a couple of close ones, and it's a weird feeling, because sort of I want her to play well, but I don't want her to score. It's really strange. It's really strange. I want her to get assists for every goal. I want her to dominate the game, but I don't want her to score. It is what it is. But
money there,
yeah. But they won 4-1. They had a good performance. And then of course I come home. Oh, hello. Hang on. Arsenal have just scored. Oh well. Who are they playing? Palace.
I was about to say, yeah.
Patrick Vieira going.
I was about to ask you they were playing, and you think I'd know, considering that about 7 hours ago I put together a post for the Facebook page for the pub.
I saw it. Yes.
Go out. So you think I'd know who they were playing, really, wouldn't you?
She's just to give it a little bit of context, Luke. She's a defender by trade. That she's done a Declan Rice. She's moved into midfield. So, but we'll talk about Declan a little bit later on. I'm sure his name will come up in dispatches, I think. Okay, so let's introduce it to the stream.
I mean, we have
Lawrence. Hope you're well, mate.
Look at this.
Yep, he's back.
Welcome, sir.
He's back all the way from Auburn, Alabama. And I tell you what, his barbecue is legendary. Legendary.
Right. Yeah. I was thinking this. As the name cropped up, I was like, I'm feeling hungry all of a sudden. Won't lie to you. What I don't want to announce is that his meat is amazing, because that just is a whole different set of connotations right now.
Yeah. That could be construed in a very different way.
I would like to say Lawrence's meat looks amazing. That's all I got for you. Take it as you will. We're going to the comment. Anyway.
We'll leave that one there, shall we?
There's ladies present in the chat. We've got to be able.
Is there? Where? Oh, you're on about Happy. I'm not too sure I'd call her a lady. I'm only joking, Happy. I'm only joking, Happy. It's a joke. Take a joke as a joke, for Christ's sake. Okay, so that was our starting 11. No real surprises there, was there, Duke? It was pretty much what we expected. There was talk about, sort of like, should Areola come in? Should Diop come in? Who's going to play at right back? Blah, blah, blah. It was, it was pretty much what you expected. I mean, Ben Johnson got the nod at right back. That was probably the only surprise, with a small S, I would suggest. I mean, we knew that Fredericks was struggling. We knew that Toffees was struggling. So Ben Johnson was quite likely to get a start. But the rest of the team picked itself, didn't you think?
Yeah, listen, I mean, we had the discussion, and quite rightly we had the discussion, because at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. I mean, I'm honest to God, the change that, the one change that's in there, which was Ben Johnson, he kind of had an absolute stormer, in my opinion. I thought he was fantastic. He didn't look out of place.
No.
He looked comfortable on the ball. He carries that on, mate, and we're going to have conversations more and more often this season as to his ability to force his way in front of Toffees.
Well, that's actually one of the conversation pieces that I've got on my little piece of paper there. You must have been reading it. Does he keep the shirt? I mean, I know it's one match, and obviously, Vladimir Toffees has been, but does he keep the shirt if he maintains that level of performance?
Yeah, listen, I think he plays Thursday. I think he should be given the nod to start Thursday night, just for the simple reason of you give Toffees another few days rest. There's obviously something not quite right there. So I'd give Johnson a nod. I thought he had an absolute blinder.
Yeah.
Defensively more solid than Ryan Fredericks, for me.
I agree.
And again, isn't rash with the ball. And I think he did the job that was expected. I agree with what Luke's comment there.
I think it's a different game if Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison played, but that's not our problem.
No. I saw something on social media earlier that really irked me.
Is this what I think it is?
Yeah, I think you know where I'm going with this.
I do.
It came up on a former player's Facebook profile. Okay, I'm friends with a couple of players on there since we started this, and an boyhood Everton fan made a comment about he was there with TC, and TC would have got a few opportunities yesterday in the game, and that he felt that Everton missed someone like Cotty up front.
I agree.
And some gentleman, I think his name was Mr. Palmer, if I remember rightly. Same first name as yours, but Mr. Palmer. And he said that he didn't consider Mark Ward to be West Ham through and through. So I think someone called Mark Ward a West Ham legend, but he wouldn't consider him to be a West Ham player, a West Ham legend, a West Ham hero, an icon, because he was he's an Everton boy, and he felt that he always prioritises Everton over West Ham. Now, my opinion on that is I kept my mouth shut because I'm very aware, Rob, as conversations you and I have had in the past, that obviously doing this leaves us open to a lot of baiting, a lot of we put ourselves out there on this channel, therefore we open ourselves up to a lot of stick and everything else. So stop it. So
I can't help what his name is.
I'm very conscious about the comments that I make and replies that I give out on certain social media posts. But I struggled with it because I really wanted to come back. At the end of the day, Mark Wall was a boyhood Everton fan.
Yep.
You don't change that. It's unlike
it's like Alvin Martin, isn't he? He was a boyhood Liverpool fan, wasn't he?
Or the season after, when a lot of these Man City fans don the black and white of a certain Geordie club, just because.
Stop it.
They were Chelsea fans a few years ago. Don't start. You don't listen. We grew up like that. We're of that same sort of age range as some of the older players. It's one club and we stick to it. Listen, just because this club paid his wages doesn't mean he still doesn't support his own club. And apparently the guy turned around and said, I saw you after a game a few years ago and you were gloating because Everton beat West Ham. So, fucking too right. Go on, son. That's your club that you support. Why? I don't care if West Ham are playing Everton and Everton win and Mark Walls feels it necessary to go and celebrate the fact that his team that he supports beat the team that once used to play his wages. He's still a West Ham fan.
Yeah.
He likes West Ham. He said, he, in all fairness, when they're not playing Everton, you see a lot of the stuff that he puts out there that, it's great for the guys and things like that. But it really irked me that this guy started on Mark Ward's personal Facebook profile, started laying into Mark Ward for being an Everton fan. I was like, mate, shut up. Please,
can't help how you raised. You can't help he was born in Liverpool any more than you or I can help where we were born.
There was a lot of fans on there that I didn't have to step in because a lot of the fans beat me to it. That even Mark Ward himself actually made the comment, if I remember. They'll quickly jump on, but it was quite amusing because this guy kind of laid into a formal wouldn't refuse to label him a legend or a West Ham icon, and someone commented about the fact that Frank McAvenny being a Celtic fan.
Yeah,
and he is making a comment about, there you go. I've got to bloody find it now.
Shall I get? I'll get the slide up of the Everton team.
You do yours, and I'm going to try. And I don't want to.
Everyone's probably sitting there thinking, "Jesus, can we talk about the game?" Okay, yeah. So that was the Everton. That was the. I'll go full screen with that while Duke's having a little play with his phone. So that was the Everton team that was announced. Pickford in goal. The back four of Digne, Keane, Godfrey, and captain Seamus Coleman. Iwobi on the left wing, Townsend on the right, and Alan and Decore as the central midfielders. Damari Gray in the number 10 position, backing up Salomon Rondon, who played as the number 9.
Dirty bastard.
Well, we're going to talk about that. We are going to talk about that. So that was the starting lineup. I mean, there was a lot of talk in the middle of the week. This player was going to be out, that player was going to be out, and I was sitting there thinking, they're going to be having a team of sort of like reserves, and that was, in the end, they actually managed to put out a half decent team. To be fair, a very decent team.
I mean, listen, the trouble was caused exactly where I thought it was going to come from. It was the pace. It was the it was the pace of Townsend down there right. You know, he did look he did look dangerous at times. Gray looked exactly like what I'd expect from a £1.7 million signing. I don't think he didn't worry me at all out there, to be honest with you. You know, I did label him as one of the guys that concerned me in the.
He did create Everton's probably their big chance of the first half when he played a cross in from the right. He sort of like skinned
across in from the right, and as long as
but he skinned O'Connor. It was
you know, listen, at the end of the day, Damari Gray, Andros Townsend, and for the most part, Alex Iwobi have a significant amount of pace. And if they come up against someone like O'Connor, who unfortunately now is what you consider to be on the slope downwards with regards to his pace.
Fair enough.
It's always going to happen, but again, we'll come on to my one comment about what I expected us to do as a team from starting.
You cheeky sod, Mr. McCready.
Nice. I like it. But yeah, I mean, listen, I'll touch on the I'll touch on my comment in a minute when we get there. Just quickly, Mark Ward replied to Mr. Palmer. I was born and bred an Evertonian. If you had any football sense, you would understand. Job done.
Yeah.
Probably in a way shouldn't have engaged the troll, but you know I get it and I understand it. But crack on. Let's talk about the game.
Okay, so first half. I don't know about you. I mean, as I say, because I was in Sitting Bull with my daughter. By the time I got back from there, the match was about 15 minutes in. But on the radio, it sort of like it came across that we were the team that was largely on top. Didn't really sort of test Pickford to any great extent, but we had the bulk of possession. We had the bulk of territory. As I say, Everton probably had the sort of like, well, other than obviously the goal that Souček scored that got chalked off, they had the chance, as I say, Damari Gray put in the ball. If Alex Iwobi makes a decent contact with that, then, you know, it's possibly 1-0. It's possibly a completely different game, but he didn't. It is what it is. I thought Everton up front looked pretty lacking, if I'm being honest. As I say, I think it's a different match with Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison. But at the end of the day, that's not our problem. That's not our problem.
Ken's comment says it.
Yeah. Listen, I think that's a fair comment, Ken. I don't disagree with that. I think they were pretty awful up in the final third of the pitch. We pretty much controlled that game, didn't we, Duke?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I posted something on the Forge Twitter page at half time asking for thoughts on the game, and I had a couple of comebacks. And I think Eric commented about the fact that we looked toothless in that first half, and by that I mean we weren't taking the chances that were coming our way. You know, Antonio hit the poor astronaut, didn't he? Quite early. You know, well, it would have been. In fact, I think he took on the harder option. It would have been easier to lay in. I think Jared Bowen down the right, and I don't actually remember who was in front of him. It may well have been Ben Rama, who was literally standing in the D of the box, unmarked, ready to walk in, and it didn't happen. And I actually put on there, you know, we have to take our opportunities. We're getting to a point now where if that Everton side had strikers on the pitch in Richarlison or Calvert-Lewin, the fact that we missed 12 of our opportunities there off target, that would have come back and bit us in the arsehole. And again,
yeah, probably.
Proof in the pudding for the first half at least. We don't have a plan B. We don't know what to do when a team want to play like we want to play, i.e., you keep the ball and go do you. We'll let you on the break. We'll control the game from our final third, where we defend and we don't give you the space, and then all of a sudden you commit too many men forward, and we go bosh, and away we go and we break. And we don't know what to do with that. And look at that possession. 62%, but to only have 4 attempts on target, that's not great when you consider. And then when you consider then that we also allowed Everton with only 38%, 15 attempts, you're kind of looking at it going, ouch. And yeah, I mean, again, a poacher, a box player.
Tony Cottee.
Again, exactly what we were talking about earlier. But in my opinion, we came off at half time, and I was talking to several players, several guys in the pub around me that obviously were watching me watch the game and seeing me kind of all that shit. And they said with actual strikers on the pitch. Hang
on. Can I just interrupt you? Have you seen this?
Pass on that, but
have you seen this?
I would like to know. Okay, first things first. One, why has he sent you a chocolate penis?
I've got no idea what he's on about.
And two, is it a mould of his own? If so,
I hope not.
If so, it's only a bite-sized piece of chocolate. Actually, don't write that.
I'm looking at this and I'm like, what the?
Perfect, I love him.
Jesus. No, I didn't, Peach, and I've got no idea what you are on about. Christ's sake.
A bite-sized piece of chocolate, don't worry about it.
What were we talking about?
As I was saying, I thought that we came off at half time. We were in control of the game, but we just didn't. We didn't worry them.
Well, we put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, no, but again, I called offside before it even found its way into the net. I shouted it was offside. I didn't celebrate. I didn't cheer because I could see what was coming, and it was quite clear. But I just felt they weren't bothered by us. It was, Mr. Budden, good evening. Agreed. I just felt that we were more like an annoying, gnat on a summer's eve when you're laying there with the blankets off and not a stitch on, and that gnat's like just it's more irritating than anything else. And I felt that's how Everton probably felt about us during the game. We were irritating, but there was really nothing else to come from it.
How much do you think we were hamstrung by what happened in the 9th minute when Michail Antonio received the cheap yellow card for simulation?
Yeah, but that's see, at that point, if I'm honest, I blew my top. Absolutely blew my top, because here we are as fans, and we call out, the likes of Grealish and the rest of them for doing exactly this. We don't buy into that simulation bullshit. And Antonio is such a monster that he doesn't need to do that.
Nope.
If you're going to go down, it's much the same as Adama Traore. I think Rob Holding said it for Arsenal last year, didn't he? When he went down and Holding threw the ball back towards the referee and asked the referee in no uncertain terms, when he's built like that, how is he going to go down? How does he go down like that when he's built like a fucking barn door? And it's the same with Antonio. Just don't do it. He can earn us more by being strong and standing up than he does throwing himself around like a rag doll. I just feel that. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. I just feel that if I was Moyes, I would have dished out the fine at half time.
Do you know you're really, really harsh? You are.
Listen, trust me, I would have done. Don't throw yourself to the ground like a big wet blanket. Get out and get on with the game.
We did win the game, didn't we?
We did, but can you honestly tell me how much of an influence on winning that game Antonio was?
Well, I can. He won the corner, which led to the goal. The only goal.
Oh, but hang on a minute.
Go on.
I do believe,
yeah.
In a private chat between yourself and me, and 3 others.
Not that private then.
You said it was a free kick.
No, I didn't. I've got the message here. Hold on. I can refer back to it. I didn't say it was a free kick. I said it was nice to see the referee not giving it as a free kick. Because normally, you know how it is.
Playing devil's advocate, he didn't give a free kick against Antonio on Pickford for the corner we scored. He didn't have to. It wasn't a free kick.
Yeah, and then I went on to say, keepers are overprotected, though I've seen free kicks given less. I'm not saying it was a free kick, but I've seen it given.
I felt that the referee, at that point, made the right decision. We saw it a few weeks ago, again with Antonio going up for a header. Eyes on the ball, not paying any attention to the goalkeeper. I think it was against Leeds, if I remember right. We had a goal chalked off because of the elbow. Wasn't even looking at the goalkeeper. Was concentrating on that ball. Pickford looked at Antonio, and let's be honest, he had no hope of getting that ball. They've literally jumped up. Antonio is in position. Pickford has jumped into him more than anything else and bounced off of him, which I'd expect to happen anywhere else on the pitch, to be honest with you.
The goalkeeper should claim it because the goalkeeper's got the advantage that he can obviously put his hands up.
He has, but he never got, and if I remember, and I'll have to go back and look, I don't think he actually got any purchase on the ball with his hands. I actually think that it bounced off of his off of the edge of his hand. He didn't get purchase on it to have the ball knocked out. It kind of just hit the side of his hand. So I have to say, I thought it was a fair challenge. And going back to what I said in the preview, now we're at this point, get bodies in and around Pickford because he does not like to be it doesn't like to be manhandled, doesn't like to be buffeted, he doesn't like to be pushed around or nudged or anyone getting a bit of roughhousing with him. He doesn't like it, and I called that in the preview, and he's come out to make that claim. He came out to make that claim, and he was roughhoused by Antonio, didn't like it, and obviously what led to that was obviously Manamir Moore producing another fantastic goal against the team from Merseyside.
And again, and to go back to our pre-match, I'm fairly sure, I can't remember if it was you or me, but I know we touched on set pieces. Yeah. I mean, I like I say, I'm not saying I thought it was a foul. What I'm saying is in this day and age, goalkeepers are so protected. There's, they've only got to be breathed on. I wasn't saying I thought it was a foul, but it was like I'm just made the point when I sent that message in the WhatsApp that it was nice to see the referee actually didn't give, he didn't start going, "Oh, it's a free kick,"
Yeah.
So, but there you go. Of course, it was and we said it in the pre-match. I'm sure one of us said it. I can't remember who brought it up, but one of us mentioned that a set piece.
If it's a right comment, it was me.
It was okay.
No, if it's a good comment, it was me. If it was a bad one,
fair enough. Well, I'll let you have it. One of us said about set piece goals because we hadn't scored one for a little while, and it might be that it was you. Okay.
Yeah,
I knew one of us said something.
We hadn't been doing what we did last season.
Yeah,
we hadn't kind of delivered on what we had last season, and we discussed the fact that you don't see Souček breaking into the box as much because for whatever reason and however it's come about, you're seeing Declan Rice play that role a lot more. And again, you saw him break forward, and I think it may have even been him that played it into Antonio when he blazed up into the stands. It might have even been him that was racing into the D. It might not have even been Ben Rama for when Antonio took the astronaut out. But I mean, just take it back a little bit. Obviously, we spoke about the text message, and you said playing devil's advocate. For those of you that are watching, I was talking. I sent Gatesy the picture that obviously we've now all seen of Big Sue with the stitches, and then I actually. I don't think, Gatesy, I sent you the video, did I? Someone had shared on Twitter of the actual incident where Rondon. I don't think I shared it with you, but have you seen it? Have you seen it doing the rounds where it's recorded from the TV, and he kind of goes a step forward, doesn't put his foot down, and then steps back again. Now, I'm not saying that he knew that it was Souček's face.
But he knew he was there.
He knew he was there, and he knew exactly what he was doing. You've seen it several times in the past where players have stepped backwards knowing that someone's behind them, and they've deliberately done it. Now, for me, the way that he stepped back, I believe, because the referee has missed it, I think there needs to be retrospective action there, because I do think it was deliberate. I don't think he meant to catch his face. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying he deliberately went out to cause the problems he did with his face. What I am saying is he deliberately stepped back to try and hurt him.
So that's a red card.
Yes, all day long.
It's a red card. He's endangered the safety of an opponent. I mean, this is one of the things that I wanted to discuss.
The referee played on despite the fact that Mikel Antonio was, I think it was Antonio, was screaming for the fact that he was holding his face and it was a facial injury.
Yeah, so it should have been stopped straight away because it's a head injury.
Yeah, and the referee didn't catch that, and then obviously we all see the pictures afterwards, and I'm unsure who put it on Twitter. I know that Happy, way back in the chat, mentioned about just how hard these Czech lads are. And I would like to make a follow-up opinion, and I wish I could remember it on my phone who actually posted it on Twitter. But they actually said that Billy Bonds was made of different stuff, and that they believe that Thomas Souček is made of exactly the same stuff that Billy Bonds was made of. The guy never ceases to amaze me. He is an absolute beast. He is a tank, regardless. And the fact that he made the comment of a few more stitches to go with the rest just absolutely done me. And the fact that it was kind of on his eye and on his under here, wasn't it?
His cheek, wasn't it? Yeah.
Look, he had the big old lump taken out of the bottom lip as well, or it might have been the top lip.
Yeah.
He had a big old gouge out the lip. Now, what was Rondon's boots like? What was wrong with them? For them, I get the eyebrow because it's bony, isn't it? And I get kind of under the cheek because but that was kind of like a divot, a chunk.
Do you think he was wearing blades?
Mate, I personally think, and I've said this for years now, there's a referee and there's a player that suffered a significant injury myself when I was playing.
Yeah.
Slightly different scenario with what happened. The guy deliberately made his blades on his boots as they were to injure me and try and take me out of the game. But these guys walk around concrete inside the stadium. The changing rooms they're like tiled flooring. It's not like it's a carpet that they're walking on. It's not like it's lino that they're walking on. They're walking on tiles. And then when they come out the changing room and they're walking down the tunnel, that's concrete flooring. And all that does is that nicks away at the metal on the studs. If they have metal studs, if they have metal blades, it nicks away. It's the same reason that if I play down the rec, even now, I don't put my boots on until I'm on the grass. I refuse to walk out the changing rooms and across like the gravel car park or anything else, because it will chip away at the studs and at the metal, and because they're only aluminium, so it will chip away, and then that obviously then creates sharp edges, which then result in some injuries. As I say, I suffered one. In fairness, like I say, he was wearing the old David Beckham metal blades. He was a centre forward. I was a centre back. Played 3 games against each other. The first 2 games, I beat the shit out of him. To be fair, he didn't like it, and then he actually in the 3rd game went and took a file to his boots and actually sharpened them into what I can only describe as kind of pinpoints, like knife blades, if you will. And then he slammed into me and snapped my shin pad and nearly broke my leg, drew blood. Obviously, that was done. Oh,
I'm sorry to hear that you're having trouble hearing us, Clive. Is it both of us you're having trouble?
Good.
Is anybody else having trouble hearing us? No one else has said anything. So
because he's got a lot of stuff going on in the background, and it's not.
Yeah. Appreciate your kind words, though, Clive.
Oh, shout! Does that help? And then again, I'll go back to what Luke says there. Whilst the rules say what the rules say, if it was the other way around, we'd go mental. Yeah, I mean, listen, we have...
I got to be honest, I'm not sure I would, because I've watched that Rondon incident with Thomas Soucek, and if it had been... No, I got to be honest, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I can only speak for me. I wouldn't, because I would look at that and go, he could have lost his eye. He's serious. Soucek came very close. He could have.
Similar a number of years ago. We had something similar a few years ago, didn't we? Past that, a few years ago, a couple of decades ago now. Cheers, mate. With I think it was John Spencer and
Dixie,
a certain Mr. Dix, who, let's be fair, you go back and you watch it now and you do sit there and you do go, yeah, he knew exactly what he was fucking doing. And it's the same as Rondon yesterday. And I think I'm split between yours and Luke's comments, mate. Is that if I was in the other camp, or if it was the other way around, I'd be slightly aggrieved and try and defend it, and try and say, no, look, it didn't mean, very much like the Everton fans currently are. And then there'd be part of me going, dirty bastard. Retrospective, I hope he gets done for it, because there's no place for it in the game. Much the same as Antonio throwing himself around on the floor. There's no place for it. Not at our club anyway. We prefer to see the players that will go out and work their bollocks off. And literally, if they drop to the floor, it's because they've got nothing left. They've spent everything, and we appreciate that. That being said, just quickly, and I don't want to trivialize it, but it's really good to see. Unless the outcome has changed in the last few hours, the news on the Newcastle fan. For the last I heard was that he was up and responding when he was on his way to the hospital. I watched something on Sky Sports earlier that one of the guys that saw to him at pitchside, in the stand, wasn't it? That he's actually alive, and I say well, but he's actually alive. So I'm pleased to see that there was some good that come out of that, because that was again, watching that or seeing that up on the screen while I was working was very reminiscent of obviously what we saw during the Euros, and it was actually brought back a lot of memories. Quite hard to, visualize that. So I'm pleased to see that I'm pleased to see that he's up and well, he's still with us anyway.
Yeah. But we just sort of touching on, because we sort of brushed over it a little bit. The goal that Ogbonna got, cracking corner from Jared Bowen, wasn't it?
Superb corner.
And he's on fire, so the song goes.
Listen,
and he's doing something else as well.
What he does in his private life is entirely up to him.
Good luck to him.
I do believe that there was a young Jake Cox that was up at Everton yesterday. So I'm kind of hoping that Richard had his hands over his ears as they were singing that song. But again,
I'm sure he didn't join in.
About to say, I honestly don't think Oggy knew much about it.
Really?
If you watch, if you listen, he knew he was putting himself in a position, but he was facing, I do believe, our goal as he got the header. And if my memory serves me correct, his eyes were closed as he made connection with the ball whilst facing
a lot of players do that as they make contact with the ball. A lot of them close their eyes.
Listen to Alan Hansen and Alan Shearer, they'll tell you your eyes got to be open. But it was the fact that he was facing our goal when he made the connection, and it just kind of, if he'd had hair, that's going over. It was the fact that it slipped off of his sweaty bald head.
So what we're saying is we only won because Angelo Ogbonna's bald.
Yes. Sweaty, bald head.
Okay.
That ball skidded off of his head like it does on the turf when it's wet. That ball hits that turf and spins up off of it. That is exactly what happened with his head. It was off his head. I'll tell you what though, I celebrated that one. I was away.
I've wrote down 5 points that I wanted to discuss. We've discussed Salomon Rondon, should it have been a red?
Yes.
We've discussed Ben Johnson, if he maintains this level, does he keep the starting place? One other thing I want to try and touch on, if I may, Thomas Souček.
All right, okay.
Yesterday, and I appreciate it's one game in isolation, but there's obviously been a lot of talk about Thomas Souček. His role has kind of changed, as well as Declan Rice's within the team. Yesterday, and I know it's only one game, but yesterday I did see a little bit of a tweak. It did seem to me that it was more like the Rice and Souček roles that they occupied last season, rather than the ones that they have thus far this, where Declan's been the one that's been going more on the forays up the pitch and Thomas has been holding. It's gone back to the sort of like the way it used to be, if you will. And I don't think Declan Rice's performance was markedly harmed in terms of his quality, but I do think that Thomas Souček looked an awful lot better than he has done so far this season. What do you think?
For me, that was Thomas Souček's best game so far this season, in my opinion. He looked sharp. He looked on it. He looked like he felt like, or it felt to me like he was back, for want of a better word. But it was, the Souček that we saw last season. Was the guy that we got yesterday. Not 100%, not 100% what he was. But it's
one swallow does not a summer make.
No, it makes a bloody good night though.
Behave yourself.
I just think he's bloody knackered. And for me, honestly, I'd play Crowell on Wednesday ahead of him. I think he probably went anyway because of the marks and the scar and everything else. I think he probably would. That's going to happen. But for me, I just felt that I'd bring Crowell in. Crowell alongside probably Deck maybe even alongside Lanzini. To be fair,
decent.
And just mix it up a little bit. Listen, at the end of the day, I get that if we pick up 3 points on Thursday, we pretty much confirm that qualification, if you will, in and around the top two, especially if the result of the other game goes our way. Puts us on 9, then them on 3.
They're all on 3,
without being that kind of person. And kind of gloating a bit too early and all the rest of it. There you go. Yes. That's why he was out yesterday. Cool. Lanzini and Noble? No, anyway, we'll discuss that another time. Ken's absolutely thrown me, to be honest with you. Absolutely
he's taking the wind out of your sails. Look what you've done to him, Ken. Look what you've done to him. You've reduced him to a gibbering wreck.
Can't remember where I was, but yeah. Anyway, Anyway, you said you had 5 points. We've covered 3. Have you got any more?
Well, I had Thomas Souček return to form, ?
Mm-hmm.
Ben Johnson, if he maintains this level, does he keep his starting place, ? Salomon Rondon, should he have seen red? Rafa Benitez, ref should have given a free kick for Antonio's challenge on Pickford. We've discussed that.
Covered that.
One last little thing that I want to discuss.
Got a point.
Declan Rice. Are we running out of superlatives for this guy? I mean,
I saw. Start making words up.
Yeah, I saw a tweet, and I know you saw it as well. From a Chelsea
Twitter. You know I saw it, didn't you?
I know you did. I know you did, and that was why I saw it. And I'm not. I wasn't sort of belittling or being disrespectful. I'm just giving my opinion. The comparison was made between Declan Rice and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Now, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, fantastic player. I think he's been dead unlucky with injury. And I think if he was in a West Ham shirt, would I turn my nose up at him? No, I wouldn't. I think he, when he's fit, and let's not forget, there's not many players that I've seen bully Declan Rice, and he managed to do it at Fulham last season. But he's been very, very unlucky with injury. He's got injuries at just the wrong time that seems to have just stunted his momentum and caused his career to stall at just the wrong moments. Yeah. But Ruben Loftus-Cheek is let me say it, in case anyone thinks I'm turning around and saying Ruben Loftus-Cheek is crap. He isn't. He's a fantastic footballer, and he's been very, very unlucky with injury. But Declan Rice, in my opinion, is just world class, and he's still getting better. We have not seen the best of Declan Rice, and we won't see the best of Declan Rice for probably another 4 to 6, maybe 7 years. So I'm not being disrespectful to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Like I say, I repeat, he's a magnificent player. He's been dead unlucky with injuries, and I wouldn't say no to him being at West Ham. But Declan Rice is just, in my opinion, a cut above.
Declan Rice is head and shoulders above. I don't mean to be disrespectful. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, I'd love to see him in a West Ham shirt. I said this when we were doing our kind of discussions over transfers. I would love to have seen him coming, but Declan Rice, as I've said many times on these channels and making appearances on other channels, at his age and his position, there is no one better than Declan Rice. Even in the world at this point, I'm going to say, in the world, Declan Rice is the best in his position at his age. He walks into any team in the world, and either fits in, i.e. Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, those types of top-tier teams. He walks in and he doesn't look out of place, or he walks in and he makes teams better. Manchester City, for me, he is the ideal replacement for Fernandinho, and It really would not surprise me if that's where he ends up. I don't want it to happen, don't get me wrong, but
maybe he might replace Sean Longstaff at Newcastle.
Well, you know what? Let's wind that in straight away because I don't get involved in that conversation. There are no comparisons. Someone mentioned about again, the Athletic reported that City are going to be going after Declan Rice to replace Fernandinho.
Okay.
And some silly sod of a Leeds fan said that Calvin Phillips is better and cheaper. And someone also made a comment that, he's also 4 years senior to Declan Rice and will trail off a lot sooner. I don't agree with the comment that he's better than Declan Rice. As I've already said, Declan Rice, for me, is the best at his age in the world in his position. There is no one else that comes close to the guy. He walks into a Barcelona side. He even walks into a Barcelona side that probably 4 or 5. If Declan Rice now walks into a Barcelona side 4 or 5, 6 years ago, when they were just coming towards the end of their peak, granted, but still, there. He walks into a Real Madrid side right now in his defensive midfield role. He walks into a Bayern Munich side. He doesn't make them any worse. He probably fits in and continues to do what they already do. But for teams like Chelsea in the Premier League, teams like Liverpool in the Premier League, teams like City, United. I'm not even going to make the comment of Arsenal and Spurs. PSG.
He's going with all due respect to those teams, and again, they're teams with their history and all the rest of it. But
he walks into
they're not in the market to him.
And he is, as I say, I cannot wax lyrical about this guy anymore without creating new words for you to understand just how good Declan Rice is and just how great Declan Rice is going to be. The words legend and all of that kind of thing are thrown around far too easily in this game. Declan Rice, in my opinion, will be. Thank you, Pete. It's quite nice, isn't it? Declan Rice will be held in conversations alongside the likes of Bobby Moore for West Ham, and I do believe that. I do believe that he can go on and do everything he needs to in a West Ham shirt that he wants to achieve in his career as a footballer. He will go on and he will captain England. There is no doubt in my mind that Declan Rice is a future England captain. He's, for me, he's the most exciting one, or if not one of the most exciting English players out there at the moment with regards to just how far they can go, just how high they can reach as a player, and I really do mean that. I think he's probably one of the best players I think I've ever seen live, and I've seen some good players live, and I think he's up there with them.
Well, I'm going to turn around and say, and I've watched West Ham, good West Ham teams, crap West Ham teams, and everything in between. I don't think I've seen a better central midfielder in a claret and blue shirt in my time.
Oh, agreed.
I can't give him any higher praise than that. I've seen many central midfielders, some good, some not so good, all sorts of different, English, foreign, Premier League, pre-Premier League. I do go back that far. I can't think of a player. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. Deckenbauer, Ken. Deckenbauer, not Beckenbauer. Deckenbauer. No, if you was to sort of like say to me, name me a better central midfielder than Declan Rice, I'm probably going to struggle. I'm probably going to struggle.
Tom's thrown a name in the hat.
Yes. Yes. Now, I will say, this is just going off on a slight tangent, but since you mentioned the name Havard Nordveit, I actually thought he was starting to get a little bit of traction in the end of that season that he played for us. And then obviously he got sold. Same as Sophie and Faguli.
Was he not a right back at some point though? Harvard North White.
I think he was, and he played defensive mid. But the problem was obviously Rice was coming through, so it was like, don't really need him.
I thought we got him in initially as a right back, and then for some reason, tossed him into midfield. And I felt sorry for him. You mention names like this, and automatically my brain goes to the Man U away game in the FA Cup when Di Canio scored, and it just reminds me of Hannu Tahinen.
Yes, remember him.
And Hayden Fox. Like they were superb players for us as centre back, and I think they were quite underrated as centre backs for us for what they did in the short time that they were with us. To be fair, and that's just when people mention Harvard Norwich, I kind of go Hannu Tahinen. He was a monster. I loved him.
He had a good game at Old Trafford in that cup win, didn't he?
Oh, they all had great games in that cup win, Casey. David James I'm pretty sure he was injured in the build-up to that game, or he was injured during that game. He wasn't fully fit.
Yeah.
And I remember a Beckham free kick that he...
Hang on, it wasn't David James in goal. Well, I'm sure it was, wasn't it Xhaka?
Oh, Xhaka. Sorry, Xhaka. It was Xhaka. Kent, it was Xhaka. Kent, don't... he hasn't. Good for that. No, it was Xhaka, and I'm pretty sure he was injured in the days building up, and he played injured in that game.
Yeah.
And again, he was the save from... Yeah, all right, Tom. The save from the Beckham free kick, and I remember Raggy Soma. I remember Freddie Canute trying to wave offside.
He was dog shit. To be fair, Raggy Soma. No, he was. He was dog shit.
Hey, listen, not any worse than what I did once. TT Kamara on the back of a West Ham shirt.
Oh no, yeah, I remember you told me that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, TT Kamara on the back of a shirt. Shocking behaviour from me. Anyway, we were talking about the Everton game on Sunday, not a game.
Well, no, listen, we obviously won. We won the game, and we're now sixth. I think we are, aren't we?
No, I think we dropped because Spurs leapfrogged after their win.
Oh, that's no good.
I think they did.
Yeah, no, we're seventh on goal difference. We've got a goal difference of +5. They've got +6.
Yeah, there's two goals that separate Man U, us, and Everton. If my memory serves, they're all kind of 14 points.
I don't wish any harm on anyone, Pat, but yeah, that was one of the worst moments I've ever seen.
That just reminds me of Jimmy Walker.
Oh, you heard the story?
And then it was Jimmy Walker and his knee, and then on Stephen Bywater for the last, about 38 seconds. And I've never been so scared. No disrespect to Stephen Bywater, I've never been so scared of anything in my life, and I'm petrified of certain things. Jellyfish being one of them, by the way. But I'd rather swim with a shoal of jellyfish. I'd rather swim with a shoal of jellyfish than watch those last couple of minutes with Stephen Bywater in goal without knowing the outcome again, because that scared the living crap out of me. Not because Stephen Bywater was a poor goalkeeper, but just being thrown in at that point with them under pressure, that free kick and everything.
I was there and I was bricking it, mate. I got to tell you. Have you ever heard the story that Jimmy Walker told about in the run-up to the 06 Cup final? Because he played in the league, because we played each other in the league, Liverpool and us at Upton Park, and that was when Hayden Mullins and was it Luis Garcia got sent off. Yeah, they had a bit of a sort of fisticuffs, and they both got a red. Jimmy played that game, and I think he got beat with a shot low down. And he said himself, that was normally his forte, short shots. Right. Low down. And of course, the irony was, in fact, Kent has just mentioned it. that he reckons obviously that low down shot from 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 yards out, whatever it was, it gets further away each time I watch it. Yeah, I think it. Well, in fact, I think it was the other side of the River Taff when it left Steven Gerrard's boot. But yeah, it's one of those. It's a sliding doors moment. If Pardew picks Jimmy Walker, do we win the cup? And again, I've probably mentioned it on this channel before. I was there. I was in the goal behind Pepe Reina. I'm with my best mate. The guy walks out, and I think it was 4 minutes he put up. He puts it up. And as he puts it up, I turn to my best mate and I go, and you'll have to forgive me, but it's gone 9 o'clock, so I can say it. My exact words were, "We're going to win the fucking cup." And as I turned around, this ball's dropping out of the air, and running onto it was Steven Gerrard. You know what happened next.
Well, listen, I want to tell you that I blame Lionel Scaloni.
Yes.
For that.
Isn't he now the Argentina manager?
Duck, you bastard, and let the ball go over your head and go out for a goal kick. Because by the time it comes back to our half, that 3 minutes is up. That's done. Let the ball go over your head. Don't slice it like a muppet. Jesus Christ, just let it go. Oh, mate, I'm getting flashbacks. Look at me. Oh.
Yeah, it's all coming back to him. It's all coming back to him.
Horrible. I was like this. I was like this through the window of was it the Denmark? No,
it'll come to you in a minute.
Denmark or the Central.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault, Titch. Everybody thought it. Everybody thought it. We're 3-2 up against the then European champions.
If it had been anyone else, but yeah, it's true, Happy. I'm like this, but
yeah. But it is one of those, isn't it? He was on one leg, wasn't he?
Didn't have cramp and everything else he had wrong with him on, whatever, 98 minutes or 99 minutes, that, that's a different story, isn't it? If we could have taken penalties back then, it's a different story. The players were knackered. But listen, again, it's part and parcel of being a West Ham fan,
It is what it is.
I still remember Stuart Pearce after he scored the free kick against Spurs. Was it the game after the United and Man U game in the cup? And he scores. And
the one is that the one we lost?
Yeah, that was when
3-2.
We had. Who scored ours? Who's the other little fella that scored ours up front?
I didn't realise he broke his metatarsal in that game, according to Pat. I didn't realise that. Really? I thought it was cramp as well.
I thought it was cramp, yeah.
Wow.
No, Stefan Freud gave it Todorov. That's it. Little Svetlana Todorov. I loved it. But Pearce scored the free kick, and I believe it was Stefan Freud that gave the free kick away, and he kind of backed in to Stuart Pearce after the free kick. But Stuart Pearce just absolutely walloped in the face. Internet look on his face as he's there giving it like the sort of aggression that we love from Stuart Pearce. Again, I was in the pub and I jumped on some geezer that I'd never met before in my life after Stuart Pearce had scored that goal. And I just felt like it was there, like Ken says, it broke my heart.
Are your kids on the internet again?
You're beating Kent to all the comments today. No, Logan's in bed. Grace might be watching something on her iPad. I'm going to go throw something.
I was going to say, because it's all of a sudden gone a little bit funny as far as I'm concerned,
Yeah, I know. We were doing so well, weren't we? So well.
Obviously, we've got a game on Thursday night as well. But we'll talk about that. I'm guessing we're going to do our pre-match for that on Wednesday.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm off Wednesday.
Yeah. I'm off Thursday as well. I've got Thursday
8
off.
o'clock again. Hey, Tom, behave yourself. My internet. I
think that was where the internet was. Yeah. Do you know? It's
that's just me on a normal day's work, mate. If you come into my pub and try and get served by me, that's how quick I move down the bar to serve you. It's all right.
it's quite unnerving for me because I'm sitting here and I'm seeing you going slowly, and I'm thinking, now, is it my internet that's dicking around? Is it is it yours?
Don't even put that on yourself. You know it's mine. But I say,
yeah,
I'm gonna put in for a new internet of my own.
Yeah, Pierce's foot was that swollen he had to cut his boot to play in that Tottenham game. Ooh, I didn't know that.
He damaged the top of his foot to get. Yeah, I think it was at half time, Kent, wasn't it? They cut the laces to get the boot off of his foot because it was the end of the game.
Yeah, but so we'll reconvene on Wednesday then, I think. So what sort of time?
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
And they're happy. I'll have you know that sloths are very cute and wonderful creatures. So I'm taking that as a compliment.
Palace have equalised. My wife is quite excited by that.
Go on, the Palace. Yeah, it's because she's a yid.
Are you allowed to say that these days?
Yid hippo, apparently. Listen, I don't care.
I know you don't.
I'm not using it as a derogatory slur. I'm just saying as it is.
Fair enough.
It depends. It depends on how vigorously you're washing yourself.
I see.
That might make me feel slightly uncomfortable.
Yep. Oh, hang on. Have you seen this? No need for this.
Listen, if that's what does it for him, if he's has to do it for him, then I'm questioning life's choices.
Well, we'll be back on Wednesday, people. That's the plan anyway. Keep your eyes open. We'll make sure you don't forget those of you that are watching that haven't already done so. Make sure you drop a like on the stream, subscribe to the channel. Duke, what have they got to do with the bell again? Remind us.
Listen, knowing that Hammerhead's in the bath, I'm not talking about the bell. In no way, shape, or form am I making a comment on the bell if Hammer's in the bath. That's all I'm saying.
He won't do anything daft. He's a sensible lad.
Just saying. And Kent's just told me off. I'm going to go in the corner.
Yeah. Consider your bell slapped.
Oh, pay for that.
That'd be quite painful, I think. Anyway,
you can get that in certain clubs in London.
I think you probably could. So, anyway, Duke, we're going to finish it off there, mate. But before we do, I just want to do my usual little shout out to Isla. Guys, please copy and paste this. It's in the description below, YouTube and Facebook. All you got to do is copy and paste it, put it onto your social media platforms with a little note that there's a soon-to-be 7-year-old girl. I believe it's the 22nd, so 4 days' time. She turns 7. Her family still need help. You know the story. She's got neuroblastoma. They can't get the treatment in this country. There's all the sort of like the rigmarole of what they've got, the hoops they've got to jump through. They need help. Real simple. Put this onto your social media platform. Let's keep the momentum behind it. If you're having a good month and you've got a couple of coins in your pocket and you want to give it a good home, I can recommend this to you. You've got a Just Giving link there. Fire the quid in, or a couple of quid, whatever you want to put in. The more the merrier. No donation is too small. This little girl needs help. This family needs help. So, get the job done. Thanks very much for listening. Duke, I'm going to end it there, mate. Only one thing left to say from you.
We are fucking massive.
I'd like to think so.
I'm conscious of saying it now because
why? It's gone 9.
Yeah,
it's gone 9.
Yeah, well, I've been reprimanded.
You have. You're on the naughty step. You're on report, young man. All right. Come on, you Irons.